For you, do I really need an extension? So I know that a lot of people that I work with are not really sure what they want. They feel like an extension is definitely the thing that they need. But when we work together, we often find that there are other solutions that are better for them, and they don't actually need the extension that they originally thought they needed to get the space that they need in their home. But when we watch Grand Designs and we pick up the Ideal Homes magazine or scroll through Instagram and Pinterest, it's so easy to start to believe that we need to do something major to our home. Like we need a huge extension, we need to add sliding bifold doors to our back living room and open it up to the garden. We need to have a big open plan family room and knock down all the partition walls. And we need all these things, even though we didn't think we needed them before we started to compare our home to others and to these like amazing magazines show home beautiful images. And I know this because this is how I felt about my home as well. So I bought my home dreaming of a big extension. I wanted to have the inside outside living, a big wildflower meadow roof, a glass box window seat, open plan kitchen with a big sociable island, and a master bedroom with an ensuite wet room. And I bought my home knowing that it had the potential for me to build that extension, that dream extension. And I could still do it. It's possible. There's all the potential is there. But actually, I don't feel the need for that right now. I've upgraded my home in many other ways, and I've made it work for me without having to extend it. So I don't have this desperate need to create this dream home, because I can enjoy my home the way it is. It's comfortable, it works for me, and it works fine. I don't need more. And also, it's not just about need, is it? It's about wanting more, and I don't feel that, urge to have more, because what I have works and it's enjoyable as it is. But I've had to go through some stages. I'm just going to bounce. I sit on a Pilates ball and it's nice and bouncy, but it's a bit squeaking at the moment. So sorry about any horrible squeaks that come from it. So there's a few steps that I've taken to upgrade my home to make it so that I am happy with it, I am content, it does feel enjoyable to be in. And although my kitchen is a bit on the too small side in a way, I've reconfigured it, rearranged the space so that it is a dining kitchen. It does have that sociable aspect and it works really efficiently. I've sort of curated it and made it efficient. So maybe in the future I am going to extend my home to address the kitchen size. And so I know that it is on the small side, but I've still been able to make it an enjoyable place to be, and all of my home is an enjoyable space. So it's really easy to get to this position because we are sociable creatures, so it's natural to compare ourselves and our own self-worth to others and what we think, is a kind of a benchmark for our self-worth within our society, and what is normal, and so what should we have as normal, and so all these sort of aspirations of what we should have, they come up, and so it's natural to feel like what we have isn't good enough, or that we need more to be contented. But there are some ways that we can overcome this. So rather than looking out and trying to figure out what we ought to do because by what we see from others, then instead of doing that, we can look at ourselves and look within at what we really need and want, to be able to then create our life that is more contented and a home that feels happy and enjoyable to live in. So the main telltale signs, that's hard to say, telltale signs that you do need to extend your home is if there is not enough room to live in as you would like. So I'd love to know if you feel like that. Is your home not really got enough space for you, and it just feels like you're somehow cramped and you're not able to live the way you want to? It's sort of restricting you, or it's defining you. And some examples of when this might be the case is if you want to be able to, say, cook with your kids and get them started on that journey of independence, teach them how to boil an egg, and then you need a kitchen that's big enough for you and them to be together and for you to be able to cook and teach them how to cook and get them involved safely. So, you know, if they're really little, you want to have enough space to be able to put those sharp knives far out of their reach. Or, well, maybe not if you're of a different school of thought and you give your children the sharp knives. I don't know. But this is something to take into account. And if you don't have enough space in your kitchen to share that space safely and happily, then you do need a bigger kitchen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to extend your house. It's possible that you could allocate more space to your kitchen from other surrounding areas, or reconfigure the space, reconfigure the units that you have in order to make more of the space that you have. Perhaps if you enjoy hosting movie night at your house with your friends, but there's just not enough space in the living room for everyone to have a comfortable seat and to see the screen, then perhaps you need to reconfigure or enlarge that space. And if your kids don't have space to do their homework or hang out with their friends or get away from the siblings, perhaps their space isn't big enough and the way that the space is allocated isn't working. So when you feel like you don't have enough space, there are 3 things that you can do to test this out. So the first thing to do is to curate your space, then repurposing your space, and then rearranging your space. So I'll talk a little bit about these now. So I'd love to know if you have tried any of these, if you know what they are. I'll go into it and then you can let me know if you have tried any of these approaches and if they've worked for you, and what, you know, share your tips about how you've done it and what's benefited you. So the first one is to curate your space. This is like the easiest and cheapest and quickest option. Although, if you have ever struggled to declutter things, you'll know it's not always that easy. And I have slight hoarder tendencies, so I do find it quite hard to do. I found that there are some techniques that really work for me, but basically what works best for me is to make it as fun as possible and to set aside some specific time when I'm going to do it. And I can teach you how to curate your space by applying the principles from the 5 love languages in my Create Your Lovable Home mini course. So if you want to get a taster for that, you can get my 5 hot tips to love your home in the link that's in the description. So curating your space, that's something that a lot of designers will talk to you about, and it's really about selecting what you keep in your home. So whether that's removing things that you don't want in your home, or whether that's adding in other things that you do want. Now, I am not able to see any comments at the moment, but I know I've seen people popping on, but I'm not able to see your comments. So the second step is to repurpose your space, and this kind of involves some mental gymnastics, because it means you need to look at your space and look at how you use the rooms and potentially change the way that you use the space that you have. I've done this a lot in my own home. I've switched all the bedrooms around. I've slept personally in every single bedroom in this house, and I have moved changed the use of the dining room from dining room to home office, and now it's moving more into a hobby room, music room, and I'm also considering turning it into an Airbnb let. So there's lots of different approaches, and I've constantly reassessing the space and reconsidering how I use that space. But I've noticed that there are often times where people place the sofa, when they move into the house, they place the sofa in the same place that the previous owners had their sofa, and they use the house in the same way as those previous owners did. But you don't have to do that. You can have your master bedroom downstairs if you want to. You can share your bedroom with the kids and all have the same room that you sleep in. How you use your space in your home is entirely up to you. And if it doesn't work for you the way that you're using it right now, try switching it up. Do something different. I'd love to know if you have tried completely changing the way that you use your space. Also, have you put your sofa in the same place that the sofa of your previous owners was? I'd love to know that too. So rearranging your space is the third step, and this is really about how you place your furniture in the rooms. So while repurposing the rooms may mean that you move your bed from one room to another or your sofa from one room to another, once you have decided on the purpose of the room, then how you use the furniture, how you arrange the furniture within that room so that you've still got the space to move around it and do what you need to do around that furniture, move through the space, that still needs to be considered. And when I was little, I used to get up in the middle of the night and completely rearrange my bedroom. I'd push the wardrobe over to the opposite wall, I'd turn the bed around 90 degrees, I'd pull in a chair from the dining room, switch it up constantly. I was constantly experimenting and switching up the space. And it would, once I found something, a configuration that I was happy with, it would stay like that for a while until what I needed from the space changed. So for example, when I started studying for my exams, I needed more space. I like to sit on the floor, especially then. I used to sit on the floor a lot, and I'd be surrounded by piles of paper, all my different study notes and things. And I also got into a really good sort of exercise habit, and that I would start my day with lots of a series of exercises and then get into studying when I was doing my exams. So what I needed to do at that point, I pushed my bed right into the corner of the room and made as much space as possible to allow me to have as much floor space for spreading out papers and doing my exercises. And that's what I needed at that time. And so we're constantly changing how you use your space and how it adapts to your life. And there's a kind of a morbid Turkish saying that I really, it fascinated me and it always sticks with me, and that is that once your house is finished, death moves in. It's really morbid, but really it's about your home is constantly adapting and changing as your life is in constant flux and change as well. And so, you're adapting your home to your life. And so, don't feel afraid to clear out something that you used to love but you no longer love and it's taking up space. Don't be afraid to change the use of the room. If that room is not being used for the purpose it was set to originally, and actually you want that space for something else, change it up. Change your bedroom to somewhere else. Change your living room. Get rid of the dining room if you don't need a dining room. Change up the space in the way that you use your space. Repurpose it in a way that suits you and meets your needs. And reconfigure the space, move stuff around, experiment. There's no harm in moving your sofa from one place to another. If you don't like it, it's not a big deal to move it back or try another location, another configuration for your furniture. These things are not going to cost you anything. They're not going to take you a lot of time. They're not difficult to do. And you can try these 3 steps out to check if actually what you need is more space, or if it's simply a question of using the space that you have differently. I'd love to know if you've tried these steps and what you've discovered, what experiments you've done, and if you would like to get my help with this first of these steps, the curating your home, and learn how you can apply the 5 love languages to doing that, then you can get my Create Your Lovable Home mini course and try curating your space in this new, inspiring, fun and easy way. And again, the link for that is in the description. That's all for now, and I look forward to reading your comments. Bye.